Welcome back boys, Papa Percocet here with another video. Today we're going to look at and compare 10 popular solo to 4-man bases in Rust. I'm going to rate these bases on 5 categories, including their level of protection, how easy they are to build, and their general buildability. The utility, which looks at things like storage, furnaces, and item placement. The base's expandability, which is pretty self-explanatory. And finally, the overall design and features of each base. Each category will be rated out of 5 stars and averaged to give us an overall score out of 5. We will cover some of the smallest bases in the game to some of the larger ones. I'm also going to give my opinion on my personal top 3 bases, including a tour of each at the end of the video. I want to take this time to thank Wurst for his material in scrap cost video, which I'll be using to compare each base. This basically gives us a conversion of material into scrap, which we can use to give us a ratio of how efficiently each base protects its TC, the most important part of the base. So coming in at number 10 we have a base designed by yours truly. So the chat pad is intended for a max of 2 players. It costs about 5,521 scrap to build in the equivalent scrap to material cost, which is actually on the higher end of the bases I'm going to show you. Surprisingly, it looks quite small, but it does cost quite a bit because most of the base is sheet metal with an armored core. For protection, it gets 3.5 stars with 23 rockets to the TC. Buildability, it gets 3 stars. Utility of 4.5 stars. Expandability of 2 stars. And overall design of 4 stars. This combines for an overall rating of 3.4 stars for the chat pad. As you can see, the expandability really hurts this base. It's very difficult to expand, but it can be done. I think the use of the roofs as honeycomb is what makes the base a bit more difficult to expand compared to the other designs I'm going to show you. But if you swap out those roofs for, say, straight walls or any other honeycomb you want to use, it does make it more expandable, but will cost on design points. But it just depends on you and how you want your base to look, really. Coming up next in the number 9 spot, we have World Gym's Predator mini base. This is a base design designed for a max of 3 players, I'd say. It offers a protection of 2.5 stars, a buildability of 1.5 stars, utility of 5, expandability of 3, and a design of 5 stars. The base costs about 7,585 scrap to build, which again is one of the more costly bases on the 10 bases we're going to look at. It takes about 27 rockets to get to the TC of the Predator Mini. What really hurts the Predator Mini's overall score of 3.4 is the buildability of 1.5 stars. So the issue with this base is it doesn't really have a proper starter to be built from, so it does make you really vulnerable when building it in a live server. Since I made this video, World Gym did release a Predator main base, which is pretty much the Predator Mini but with a number of improvements, including a starter base. Unfortunately, I didn't get it included in this video, but you guys should 100% check it out. It's an awesome base. This is one of the bases in my 3 personal favorites from these 10, and we're going to be taking a tour of it later in the video, so stick around for that. Coming in at a very cool number 8, we have Witness's base. His trio base. It doesn't really have a name, so the trio base will have to work for now. This is his V1 build of this base, and of course, being a trio base, it's intended for 3 people. It has a scrap build cost of 10,555, which is actually the most expensive of the 10 bases I'm going to show you here. So you can just keep that in mind. The reason for that is it has a lot of high qual in the core, and he does mention in his build video that you can replace that high qual with sheet metal to bring the cost down. But I'm just going to base it on how he built it in the video, but you guys can keep that in mind. It offers a protection of 1.5 stars, a buildability of 3 stars, utility of 5, expandability of 3.5, and a design of 4 stars. So the big problem with this base is its protection. It's not to say that the overall raid cost of the base isn't good, but the raid cost to TC for how much materials you use to upkeep the base is, it doesn't make the base very efficient. And that is because of the high amount of high core, as I mentioned, that's used in the base's design for its core. I personally love this base. I think it's a very cool base design. The helipad design is very unique, and that's why I pushed up the design to 4 stars. So you guys should definitely check it out as well. Next up in the number 7 slot, we have Alone in Tokyo's main base, or his previous main base at least. So this bad boy is going to cost you 6,728 scrap to build, which is really middle of the road, and it's pretty decent for the size of the base. Most of you have noticed that have seen this base before. The build I'm showing in the background that is just not the bass. That's pretty much just the core of the bass. So I bought the rest of it and I didn't record it properly. I don't know what happened, but you know, Alone in Tokyo, if you're watching, please forgive me for showing this absolute shamble core of your bass. It really is a really good looking bass, guys, so you guys should check it out.
There's a lot of things I should have done differently, but I didn't. And for that, from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry.
So it's intended for a trio. Protection is difficult to do in this bass because it's a multi-TC bass, so you can't really give an efficiency ratio based on all the TCs. I'll just tell you guys from my experience of personally using this bass that it is a very well protected bass, and if I had to give it a very subjective score, I would say it's a 3 to maybe 4 star bass in terms of protection. The buildability is 2 stars. It is a bit technically difficult to build and some of the steps are a bit complicated. Utility gets 5 stars, expandability of 3.5 stars, and a design of 3.5 stars. This gives a nice decent overall of 3.5, which is very respectable and puts it at number 7 in our list. Rolling up in the number 6 spot, we have Wurst's Mini Frustrator. Now this is an absolutely awesome bass. It's going to cost you about 2,202 scrap to build, and it's intended for a duo. So with protection, it offers 4-star protection, 3.5 star buildability, 5-star utility, 2.5 expandability, and 3.5 design. So as you can see, it's a very good overall all-rounder. You know, standard German design. This thing is not going to mess around. It's going to get you through the wipe a-okay. I've personally used the bass a couple times and I've really enjoyed the layout and interior design. And you know, it's got the Wurst name of it, so it's going to be well thought out. You know, it's fairly well protected with 16 rockets to the TC and a very efficient scrap to rocket cost of 439, making it 4 stars and actually one of the best protected basses, the whole little series we've got going on here. And it has a total overall 3.7, which is awesome and puts it in a very respectable 6th spot. And yeah, and this will definitely not the first and only Wurst bass in this list, but stick around and we'll get to the rest. Next up in number 5 spot, we have Vidz's Solo Bunker. So this is a little tiny bass. It only costs about 929.5 scrap, which actually makes it the cheapest in the list. But look at this little guy, you know, there's no surprises there. It offers 8 rocket protection to the TC if you upgrade it to sheet metal. Of course, a 16 if you upgrade it to armored, like I did in the video here. But I based all the calculations for its protection and all that based on a sheet metal design, which he has in his build video. You know, that's on his channel, of course. So in terms of protection, it offers 5-star protection, buildability is 5 stars, utility is 2, expandability of 5, and a design of 1.5 stars. So as you can see, protection, buildability, expandability all max in the space. It makes the bass really awesome. What hurts its overall of 3.7 is the utility and the design. The design of 1.5 is not to say that this is, you know, a badly thought out bass. It's just you can't compare its design to something like, you know, Wurst's Mini, the Predator Mini, or you know, Witness's bass or Wurst's bass design. It is a cool bass design, but you know, nothing unique and nothing special here. Just a standard bunker. A fantastic number 4, we have Vidz's go-to bunker bass. So this is intended for a duo. I really love this bass, and this is one of the 3 basses in my personal favorites list that we're going to be taking a first person tour of later. I suspect most of you have seen it already, but you know, if you haven't, just stick around. It's going to cost 2,570.75 scrap, very specific numbers there to build this puppy, which is very respectable and puts it on the lower end, believe it or not, especially for the duo basses. It gets a protection of 5 stars, a buildability of 4.5 stars, utility of 3.5 stars, expandability of 4, and a design of 2.5. This combines for a very good average of 3.8, which puts it in the number 4 spot in our 10 spot playlist. In the number 3 spot, we have Jason Lewis's bunker bass. Now, I suspect most of you wouldn't have come across Jason Lewis's channel. If you have, then you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this guy is a fantastic builder and he has very unique designs, you know, that I haven't really seen elsewhere. This again is the 3rd and last bass in my personal favorites list, and we're going to be doing a first person tour of this one, also to get Jason that exposure I think he deserves on his channel. So his little bunker bass is designed for a max of a solo duo. It has 23 rockets to TC and a total build cost scrap amount of 3,068.5. I really fucked that one up, but you got the point. 3,000 scrap. So protection wise, it's going to offer you 4.5 stars of protection with a buildability of 2 stars, utility of 4.5 stars, expandability of 4 stars, and a design of 4 stars. So this thing is an absolute powerhouse. It's going to get you through a wipe, absolutely no problems, and you're going to be stylish while you're doing so. The buildability is what makes it, it really costs the average. It could have been 1.5 stars, to be honest with you. 2 stars is maybe being lenient. It just doesn't have an appropriate starter, I don't think. It's very difficult. The build steps are a bit tricky in some places, and setting it up on a live server might get you killed if you're really unlucky. But if you go somewhere quiet, you can get this base built and you'll never regret it, I promise you. So definitely check out his channel if you're interested in the design, and stick around for the first person tour, as I mentioned at the end of the video. The runner-up in our 10-man shortlist is Rust Daddy's Black Widow base. So this thing is an awesome base. I absolutely love Rust Daddy's videos. I think he edits, some of the best base building videos you'll ever see in your life, and the base designs are just out of this world. He hasn't uploaded too many just yet because it's a fairly new channel like mine, but you can just see there's big things in store for this man's future. So of course it's a trio basic, and I wouldn't suggest you use it for any more than that. It is a bit tight in some cases, and accessing the bunker with only one sleeping bag it can be a bit of an issue to some, but it isn't an issue to most. It's going to cost you 4,023.5 scrap, which is again middle of the road and very respectable when it comes to the protection of the base. And this helps. It's 27 rocket to TC, give it a protection of 4 stars, a buildability of 4, utility of 5, and expandability of 3.5, and a design of 3 stars. So the design of 3 stars is because you could argue that the base is well designed, but the principal core of the base is Prince Vidz's bunker base, so it's not necessarily a unique feature to the base. You could debate and say it's a 3.5, maybe 4-star design base. I'm going to keep it as a 3 for now, which gives it an overall of 3.9, putting it in second place on our list. Very respectable from Rust Daddy. And the number 1 spot, the one you guys have been waiting for, is Evil vs Frustrator V2. So absolutely no surprises that the best base in this list is coming from Evil vs. Probably the best, well, I'm going to go out there and say probably the best Rust builder, that's on YouTube right now. So 99% of you would have seen this base, I'm sure. So going through it is a bit of a waste of time, but I'm going to do it anyways. So it's suitable for up to 4 players. I think you wouldn't want to try and take on this base as a duo. The upkeep is a bit steep for that, but as a 4-man, it's pretty easy to maintain. The base is going to cost you 5,314 scrap to build, which is super respectable, guys. Like, you'll be so surprised how low the build cost is for this base. I think it's about 26,000 stone, 18,000 metal, 147 high core. So he's really thought about how to use high core efficiently in the space, which I really like. And the fact that he used the high core so efficiently in such a large base design gives it a build protection of 4 stars. It's very efficient in terms of upkeep to the raid ratio, especially for the TC, which can be centrally placed and placed at random in the base to make raiders that have seen this video, just to make us obsolete. You just don't know where that TC is, which is awesome. The buildability is a 4-star. It comes with a pretty appropriate starter base, a utility of 5-star, an expandability of 3 stars, and a design of 4 stars. So this, again, I've used this base personally, and it's a really awesome base design. An overall of 4 stars is well deserved, and the number 1 spot is, what I expect from a base design from Evil vs. Okay, so let's get straight into the tour of my top 3 personal bases. We're starting with Walljum's Predator mini base. So we go through a standard little airlock onto the first floor of the base. Here we can see he uses the roof as a bunker to block the entrance to the core. We have a couple boxes and utility rooms upstairs, a tier 3 workbench, another shooting floor on the opposite end. So the entrance of the base is mirrored on each side. You can look down, watch the entrance, see if you're being door camped. Near the back middle of the base, we have this roof access, and we have these 2 double doors that form another airlock. He chose to put bags up here, but you can put really whatever you want up here. It's a nice little spawning room though. Of course, you can get onto your roof and shoot some nakeds outside, or do whatever you want to do. That's up to you. So we can head down into the core of the base. We're going to go through this roof piece quickly. So down here we have some furnaces. You can see the roof piece is completely blocking the entrance to the core. And we have these loot rooms. I put this door the wrong way around like an idiot. But anyways, so you've got these unlootable loot rooms. Of course the bottom 2 boxes are completely unlootable. The top 2 can be looted however. And you've got 4 of these loot rooms dispersed around the core of your base. All the boxes are accessible, and it's a bit of a pain in the ass to build because the build steps leave you exposed, but they're really good loot rooms otherwise. So we're going to go down into the second bunker, the TC bunker. So you spawn here on this bag and you break this wooden half wall, and this does 2 things. It breaks the bunker that protects the actual TC itself, and it breaks the roof bunker. That's why this base got 5 stars. You know, opening up 2 bunkers from a single place is super useful. I think that's a really great addition to a base. If I can get up here. Perfect, there we go. It's got a decent amount of storage here in the TC room. Okay, up next is Prince Vidz's go-to bunker base. So here we have a pointer's demonstration of an airlock. Yeah, in the front of the base, this is where you can add roof access through this roof piece if you want to. You know, you've got some shop fronts for visibility. You can say house it to everyone outside. Through the single door we have a bunker. We're going to fly through that quickly, and of course that's pretty standard. You just open it up by destroying this wooden half wall. Now you can get into and out of the core of your base. Very well protected. You're not going to get door raided. Here you've got some furnaces built into the honeycomb, which I like, very efficient. And into the main core we have a tier 2 workbench, a barbecue, a research table, a couple bags. Of course your main loot room, and the TC behind the garage door in the main loot room, which I clipped way too far forward. RIP. Pretty decent upkeep as well. I like the base design. I've used this in countless times as well. It's really a personal favorite of mine. Up next is Jason Lewis's bunker base. So you access it through this weird and wonderful triple double airlock, I don't know, but it's got 3 single doors and you can basically look up both sides of your base for door campers. Now you come up to the shooting floor. It's protected by the shotgun trap. It's got a couple items around. Coming down the chute we have a shotgun trap and a utility room with like standard utility items, some storage, a research table, a workbench, a couple of boxes here and there. And of course we don't see the TC, and that's because the TC, being a bunker, is hidden underneath the ground like this in a little foundation. So you spawn in these 2 bags. Apparently you can fit 4 bags in here according to his video, but I've tried it, I can't get it right, so I don't know what's happening there. You break this little wooden half wall, and that opens up this armored floor tile to expose our bunker. Of course here we can see our TC, and you can get in and out of the core by just jumping on this large box. Really simple, pretty straightforward, really awesome little base design. I've used this once or twice as well because I thought it was just really neat and, you know, just something different. The upkeep is reasonable, and the core storage is also, it's not bad, it's not great, but you're not planning on keeping more than 2 people in this base anyways. Alrighty boys, that's the video all finished up. If you liked the video, hit like, and please consider subscribing to the channel. I want to grow my channel so that I can make more subscriber based videos in the future, and maybe do some Rust game and skin giveaways. Thanks so much for supporting me, and as always, as we say here in South Africa, have a lucky day my brews.